Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's going to be a great day today, and we're going to get off to a roaring start with Jaime Maussan. Everybody here knows Jaime. Everybody in the entire UFO world knows Jaime. He is one of the most prolific researchers and documentarians that we have. He is literally the Dan Rather, the 60 Minutes guy of Mexico, except he tells the truth. Here's Jaime.
Thank you very much. I was just remembering the first presentation that I had in this Congress. It was back in December of 1991 in Las Vegas. From then to now, we have been trying to understand what has been happening in Mexico and, of course, around the world. For the first time, we believe we have some answers to this strange phenomenon, and answers that we are going to try to share with you, because we believe that the biggest part of this flap is just happening now in Mexico. The most recent video that I brought to you was recorded just 2 weeks ago, which proves that this is an ongoing reality in my country and, of course, around the world. And we also believe that there are ways that these creatures, these intelligent beings, are trying to communicate with us, because we believe communication is going to come first before the so-called contact that we all hope is going to happen soon. Nobody knows when, but of course, everybody expects that. But this is not going to happen if there is no communication before that this occurs. We have divided this presentation in 4 different themes. And we have done it as the Mayans did. Divided in 4 different elements: fire, which means presence, 8 members of the squadron, the 501 squadron, that take care of the security in the south border of Mexico. These planes were used now because now we are using more sophisticated planes just a year later. But a year ago, these planes were used to try to stop narcotics into Mexico. For that reason, they are equipped exactly like many American planes from the Air Force, with very sophisticated equipment. The FLIR system is reserved to America and some allies, or some allies like Mexico, on this drug on wars. And that's the only reason the Army has this very important element. The FLIR camera, the FLIR system, has a cost of $500,000 each. For that reason, and because of also security reasons, not too many people or institutions have this system. The only way we have to be secure that this system is working properly is through this FLIR company, because when we were making the investigation, some American investigators considered that probably the FLIR was not well calibrated. But the FLIR box is sealed. And the only company that can open that box, that seal, is the FLIR company. I don't think this company, especially related to the military, can sell equipment that is not working properly. It has to work properly. It has to be checked and rechecked and rechecked every time, every few months. Then I talked to the Army about this, and they said that there was no way that this system was working wrong. This is the flight, the plane, Merlin C-26A, with a radar, 50 nautical miles, and also with the FLIR system. This is the system that is used by the American planes, and in this case by the Mexican planes. This is the screen where they were able to see the object that they couldn't see with their own eyes. And this is the radar.
¿Tienes la laguna a la vista?
Sí, está a la derecha. La pista está aquí a la 1.
¿Dónde anda?
Sí.
A las 12 de nuestra posición, Edgar, 2.3.
No, pero la pista ya está a la derecha. Oficiales, cuartel, por favor.
They were able to locate a single object through the radar, and they were trying to find this because they thought it was an airplane with drugs, and that this airplane, since it was flying so low, was trying to land.
¿Y por qué hasta ahorita lo agarras?
¿Qué es Juárez? Juárez, ¿qué es? Un punto. Ahí está.
Está exactamente atrás de nosotros.
Es correcto, ahora está a las 7 de nuestra posición con 10.5 millas. Lleva rumbo 283 y 334 de velocidad. Bueno, estoy a punto de perderlo ya en el radar, ya está a punto de salir.
Ok. Qué barbaridad. Bueno, pues ni modo. Fue contacto radar y...
31.8 millas ahora y lo estoy perdiendo.
Ok.
Ahí supuestamente debe llegar el Carmen.
Ya no lo tengo en la pantalla, pero me sigue marcando la distancia, el radar.
That little X tells you that there is heat in that light or that point. There is heat. You can also see here
A la misma altura.
that the level of the camera is 0 or just above the horizon, which makes very difficult that this camera is recording something on land. Besides, the oil fields, the oil wells were more than 100 miles away.
Que trae una punta adelante. Un puntito adelante. Ah, cabrón. ¿Ya no está? ¿Se acaba otro?
A ver, radar, ¿qué tenemos?
Nada, señor. A ver, permítame, déjale busco.
¿Y nosotros?
Comandante, ¿qué es eso?
¿Qué distancia más o menos lo tenías, Telles?
¿Eh?
Oye, a ver, abusados, es como...
Ahí van más. Van más, siguen más atrás. Son 10, 11 objetos.
Son muchos objetos. A ver,
Ahorita deben estar a las 9 de la posición.
A las 9, permíteme.
a las 9 a la misma altura, casi.
Ok, permítame.
Afirmativo. Iván. ¿Qué van? Va, uno. Y ahí van los atrás. Siguientes.
¿Qué es eso, Dios mío?
¿Se andan correteando?
¿Qué es eso? A ver, trata de enfocar.
Máximo.
Ok, no dejes que lo dejen atrás. Ok.
Van.
Sigue ese, no lo dejes,
No,
Reyes.
van todos. Van aproximadamente
Ay,
como
cabrón,
10.
como
¿Te lo dio?
4.
¿Te lo dio? ¿Qué van pasando? Ahí van.
Ahí van. 3, 4, 5, 6. ¿Son 6?
¿Abajo o arriba o arriba?
En medio ahí van.
Ahí van a ir 1, 2, 3,
a la misma
4,
altura.
5, 6, 7. Ay, güey, no, son 8.
Qué barbaridad, ¿eh?
Ahí se van a ver bien. Y van a una velocidad, pero... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 en la pantalla.
Síguelo, no lo cierras.
¿Están a la misma altura, Telles?
Afirmativo.
Poquito, arriba.
8, 9, 10, 11 contando toda la cola. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
Ok, no sabemos qué estamos viendo, son unos objetos nada más luminosos que vienen a la misma altura que nosotros, que nosotros no podemos saber qué distancia.
¿A qué distancia lo tiene? ¿A qué posición lo tienes, Telles?
A las 8.
A las 8, 9.
A las 9. No creo que lo agarre el radar. Tenemos un ángulo ciego ahí, oiga.
Bueno, ese es uno, pero aquí tenemos
Aquí
otro a
tenemos
las 9.
Otro a las 9.
Ah, aquí tengo uno. A ver, déjame checar el de las 9.
Y adelante van otros 2.
Y son los mismos, ¿eh?
Los tenemos adelante, en medio y
At this moment,
las 8 de
the military are explaining that they are surrounded by the objects. The captain, Magdaleno Castañón, decided to turn off the navigation lights to avoid confrontation.
siguen a las 9.
And that's when the objects left. Suddenly, one of the objects started chasing the plane from behind.
Hoy es su día de suerte. Jóvenes,
No estamos solos.
no estamos solos.
We are not alone. We are not
Qué
alone.
cosa tan rara, ¿eh? Nos están
This is
rodeando.
very rare. This is very strange.
A la 1 lo tengo a 14.8.
3 of the objects
La 1
of the objects were captured by the radar,
49 y 52 de velocidad.
and at least from 11 to 16 with the FLIR system.
Tiene el radar, lo tiene el FLIR, lo estamos viendo en el FLIR.
Now, this object is chasing the airplane as the airplane is leaving the area.
Está 2 millas atrás de nosotros. No se nos separa, es más. No nos separa. Fíjate, lo que no detectó el radar en toda su vida, ahorita lo está haciendo.
Many explanations have been given to this event. If they were meteorological balloons, lighting, or ball lighting, or missiles, invisible planes, I don't know, like 15 different explanations. The last one was that they were oil fires, oil wells. How many of you think is that true? They forget that this military fly that place every day. Do you think by any chance the military in Mexico would give this video to a journalist to be presented in the media if they could give an explanation to it? I think it's very disrespectful what many investigators have been doing with the Mexican military. These people, even though we are not as capable as the American pilots, they are very well trained. Many of them are training here in the US, and they are very capable pilots, some of the best in the world. I can promise you that. And this is recognized by the American Air Force regarding the Mexican pilots, which is not the same for every pilot or from any country in the world. For that reason, all I have been asking to the investigators is to be respectful to these people. Because unfortunately, because of all this controversy, we haven't been receiving more calls from the military to let us know more information. And that's thanks, and we have to thank that to many investigators around the world, to the Mexican media and the Mexican scientists. The scientists felt very attacked by the military when they didn't receive the video in the first place. What would have happened if they had received the video? Where would this video be at this moment? In a box? Hidden? Would have you known about this? No. What I did was to present this video in the Mexican news, in the national news, in the most important newscast in Mexico. And I also made an international press conference next day, because I thought I shouldn't keep this video for myself to profit from it. The thing to do was to release this to the world, and that's exactly what I did on the morning of May the 11th, 2004. And because of that, this video belongs to the people now of the world. We haven't charged a single penny for any of this. We have allowed anyone around the world to have a copy of this, anyone to make an investigation, because here we have something that proves that we are not alone. After 15 years of working in this subject in Mexico, finally the military recognized that there were things that they couldn't explain. And instead of really recognizing this to the General Secretary, Ricardo Clemente Vega Garcia, they attacked him, the Mexican media. How did you give this video to Jaime Maussan? Why did you do that? And the scientists 3 days later presented in the news, they had an explanation. It was ball lightning. But then, Robert Golka, an American expert, professor at MIT, probably the biggest authority in the world, said this was not ball lightning. Ball lightning, it doesn't last for 11 minutes. Not yet. And this is the case, but this is just the beginning of a new phase in the investigation. Is it possible to have invisible planes? Are they going to be real? What I present you here, it proves that they are going to be real very soon. We don't have invisible planes to the eye. We have invisible planes to the radar, but not to the eye yet. But we will have it as these experiments done in Japan prove it. Which means also that probably these people or these intelligent creatures, can we see that? Can have this technology too. This is not a trick. This is real. Even solid objects like this This is nanotechnology. Of course, it's a secret how it works. But it's going to be available to everyone very soon. I don't know how is that going to be done, because can you imagine terrorists, invisible terrorists? Or invisible criminals, or whatever? Okay. For the first time in history, a Mexican whose name is Pedro Avila, a man that should be invited to this country, to this Congress, a man who has muscular dystrophy. All he has is a very small window. On July 17, he was recording with 2 cameras over the same tripod at the same time. This is the first camera. There is an object there. Can you see it? No, you can't. Because it's impossible, because it's not visible in the normal spectrum. But fortunately, what Pedro did, this man, was to record with a second camera over the same tripod, 1 camera over the other. And then you can clearly see the object. It means this object was invisible to the eye. Doesn't this prove this real phenomenon? Is that exactly real? Do we have invisible spheres at this moment? And now you can see how suddenly just disappears. And now let me present you both cameras recording the same object at the same time, and then you will realize how important is this video. I think now, around the world, all the sky watchers in the sky need to be using infrared and doing what this man, Pedro Avila, did, who has so many incredible videos too. There, you can see very clearly, there is nothing in here. It's the same angle, everything, and the object is right there. Nothing in here, and the object is in the second with the infrared. The object should be here, and you don't see it. I don't think this has done ever before in history. This is the first ever done this way. It means there is a presence. It means that what we suspected for so long is real. They can watch us and we cannot see them. And that explains so many other things, so many other events. As we saw, with the military, there are formations. They make formations. Here is just very briefly some videos of these so-called clusters or fleets that have been recorded through time in Mexico, like this one, recorded in 2001, where you can see geometrical formations standing in the sky. This is just outside Mexico City, right in the path of the airplanes going to the airport. You can see that the objects have energy because they reflect energy even through the clouds. Since 1994, this was the first video we had from these fleets. We know sometimes they stand still. Most of the time they stand still, but many other times they can move all of them together, or they can move to make different figures. For me, this cluster phenomenon is related to the crop circles in England. We have signs in the ground, on the ground, and we have signs in the sky. Figures, geometrical figures. You can see here more than 100 or probably 200 objects making a formation and standing still. Many, many times we have a few dozens of videos of this kind. Sometimes they move to make formations or figures or okay, that's history. What is going on now? Okay, let me present you 3 or 4 of these new videos. This recorded 21st of June 2004 over Cuernavaca near Mexico City, 100 kilometers away. You can see a cluster and all of them moving together, making a formation, moving in the same direction, at the same speed, at the same level. As you see, they keep the formation all the time. We can see clearly intelligence there because of this condition. Are you prepared for the next one? Okay. Guadalajara, June the 10th, 2004. I knew. In a moment you will see how all these objects right now are moving together. How can you explain that? I don't think there is a video with more objects in the sky ever. Look the formations, look how they move. They never lose the position. And right in the middle, we were able to detect the object that we think was controlling all the rest. We made some analysis to this craft and we detect heat. On January 28th, that's what, a month ago? Mexico City again. If we're not going to use the lights, could we turn them off? I think people are going to see better. If we can turn these lights off, please. Yes. As you see, they are standing still this time. They don't move. Are we being observed? I say yes. At least in Mexico we are. Why Mexico? I know that's going to be the question. You see, none of them moves. That proves intelligence. Okay, now, February 27th, 2005. Is that recent? Look the speed, please. Look the speed. $11 in the morning. Where these spheres come from? Do you believe in Quetzalcoatl, in the flying serpent? Do you believe in dragons? What is that? It's from 300 to 500 meters in size, and you have a vigilante there. And then, I don't know if you see, but this is releasing spheres. can see now hundreds of spheres coming from this thing. Fortunately, Robles Hill also not just recorded a video, but he took excellent photographs with a 500mm lens, and we will see the details on this incredible creature. I cannot say ship or UFO or space flight or spacecraft, and you can see that the objects are coming from inside, and you can see all the figures that it's trying to make. You can see the red spheres and the blue spheres, and now it's making like animals, like a turtle, and releasing spheres like a bird, like a rabbit, and many other. Here we can see how many spheres this thing is releasing. Are these the motherships? The carriers? The same kind of organism was recorded the 20th of November 2004, again over Mexico City. This is like a dragon or something. Could we consider all those myths to be really myths, or they have the truth behind them? How can you explain this? Nobody has been able in Mexico. This is being analyzed by the university, the National University in Mexico. And we are going to have an answer soon, because this happened very close to the border in Tijuana in June 24th last year too. And we can see this small thing that we believe is controlling the movements of the big one. This This is almost in the United States, right in the border, in the line. I don't know yet this one because we don't have a point of reference, but in the one in Mexico, probably from 300 to 500 meters, half kilometer, a third of a mile. You can see the airplane there. And this is weird. 4th of July, 2003. We have seen the spheres. What are they? This is probably the best photographs that have been taken from spheres. They were taken near Guadalajara in Ocotlan on 1997. We have a beautiful video in the state of Mexico, near Mexico City, March 16, 2002. They were very low, and that is why we were able to record that very well. I mean, we, the Mexican people. We have different videos where we see these couples always moving one around the other. This is from the very same day, the very same two objects but higher, and you can see how they move around like in a magnetic dance. And this, I just received this video from December 15, 2002. And this is from San Luis Potosí. It looks just the same. They do exactly the same thing. They go around each other. This video lasted for almost an hour. The objects every time are closer and closer and closer. The videos are better and better. On 14th of February 2000, we had an object landing near downtown Mexico City in the middle of a school. In the very same place September 16th, 2003, in the middle of the city, we were able to record this object. Many people reported that sighting, and also we had many reports on the 2nd of November 2004 near Mixquic outside Mexico City. More than 200 people were standing by the road in this place that is very well known for the party for the dead on November the 2nd, that very same day. Now we can see the shape. It's just a disc with a dome. Thank you. October the 28th, 2004, Mérida, an Air Force pilot is recording some spheres going in front of his house.
Estamos en Mérida, Yucatán.
Parece que son ovnis o son ovnis. Son de color amarillo, nada más que aquí no se ven. Son como naranjas.
Ahí están dos.
This is a very important video related to the Roswell case, and I will explain why later.
Puedo ocultar con las dos objetos. Esto es impresionante.
Van ciertas cosas que vemos pasar en el cielo terribles. Ovnis, dile que son ovnis. Van de norte a sur. En mi casa, pero son unas bolas como de fuego naranjas que están pasando. Él es que no salen de por su casa. Aquí viene hacia arriba, la cara está impresionante.
At least 12 spheres preceded the flight of the object. It seems that sometimes or many times these objects use spheres or devices like spheres to observe and protect themselves from us. After the 12 spheres going in front of the house,
Otra vez estamos donde mismo.
we had this.
Ahí está, Signal Show.
Y ponle ahora.
Nation.
¿Qué es eso?
Mamá, voy a llorar. Dame un abrazo, mami.
Eso no es un avión.
Ay, carambas.
Esto es redondo, ovalado. Tiene un círculo en medio.
Esto está altamente definido. Ve eso.
Eso.
¡Ay! No voy a parar. Cállense, por favor.
Increíble, eso sí está increíble.
Es increíble.
Mamá, eso no es un avión. ¿Y si es un dirigible? No.
Vean eso, está enorme.
Eso está enorme.
Suddenly, the object is going to take off.
Es enorme, es uno grandote con una bola en
Es
medio.
la nave mayor,
Y da
parece.
vueltas la bola en medio. Es enorme.
Dile que parece la nave mayor
Sí, me estoy haciendo pipí de los nervios, te lo juro.
Sí, parece que la nave extraterrestre
Es
mayor.
enorme.
Se perdió ahí atrás de la casa.
Why?
Ahí está la
We
antena.
had the answer a few minutes later.
Exactamente donde empezamos.
A helicopter
Aquí está la antena.
from the police, from the Mérida police in the state of Yucatan, appeared
Esto es un avión.
looking
Están las luces estrellas.
for the spheres and the object that were reported all around the city.
Para ser observado por cualquier aeronave que esté cerca. Esto es un avión.
They denied
Esa
this,
es la
but it's very clear in the video.
Ahorita debe de virar hacia nosotros.
Oh, we didn't do a thing? No? We weren't looking for anything?
17 del aeropuerto de la Ciudad de México. Esto es un avión. Ese es con Night Shoot Plus. Se ve la diferencia de focos. Hace un rato veíamos un solo foco.
Okay, 3 months before that, August the 7th, 80 kilometers away from Mérida City, in the middle of the jungle, close to Xmal, very close to Xmal. People saw this and recorded this.
Órale. Sí, lo estás filmando. Sí. Carito. Síguelo, 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 síguelo.
Very same object.
¿Sabes qué? Está bajando, está bajando, está bajando. Está bajando, primo. Clarito, mira eso. Sí, es que tú quédate filmando, yo sigo por allá, por los árboles, ¿sabes? Sí, filmando, yo voy a buscar.
Now, I need to explain. I'm going to present you 6 different cases that have been recorded and photographed with the new digital cameras or the night vision cameras, the new night vision cameras. Before, in the past, we just heard witnesses telling us what they saw, little creatures with these characteristics, unbelievable. We couldn't believe there were creatures like that. At least, like me, I am a journalist. I have a very skeptic mind. Then for me it was very difficult to believe. But now, with the new cameras, we have been receiving these images. Since they are photographs, they are not videos. In every case, you can tell me, oh, that's a dummy, that's a hoax. You cannot prove anything with this. It's true. We won't be able to prove something as we have done with the videos and the UFOs in this event. But after I received the first case in September 2002, I said, if this is true, more things like this are going to happen. And out of the 6 cases that I'm going to present, 3 of them have occurred in Mexico. In none of these cases, none of the 6, the people who have done it wanted money, wanted fame, or wanted to discredit the phenomenon. Nothing. They didn't have any single motive to hoax this. To make a hoax when it's going to cost you. You have to have a reason, any reason. But it's very difficult to consider that you could do something like this for no reason. I mean, it could be a hoax, but I don't find, in my experience, I've been a journalist for 34 years, I don't find these as probable hoaxes. The first case is related to England. This case happened in November 1999. The story says that a man sleeping in his house outside in the countryside heard the dog of his neighbor barking. He went outside. He took his camera. He went outside. He saw a craft, a big triangular-shaped craft. He went inside, got a camera, came outside, didn't see the object, but he heard some noises. He went to the back of the house and recorded a video for 4 minutes. For some reason, this video ended in the hands of the M16 in England. The M16 sent the video to the Area 51 people, the Site 4 people, according to the story, and kept 6 stills, 6 photographs out of the night shot video in a computer. This computer got a virus. Some people were hired because they weren't able to get rid of that virus, and some people were hired to get that virus from the computer because they were afraid they were going to lose the only images they kept for security reasons. They didn't make a single copy out of the video for security reasons. And for that, they hired these people, and these people took the photographs, the images, without the military knowing this. They presented the 6 images in a site, insidior.com, for some months in the internet, and suddenly, one day, Insidior just went away. Nobody knows what happened to it. I don't know if the military discovered this or what happened. But we have, or were able to copy all these images. Even though it's not a case that we have investigated, and it's a case that happened in Mexico, it's very much related to the other cases, and that's why I want to present this to you. Okay. In the first image, we have 2 creatures, 2 beings. This is, time is 31 seconds, 13, and you have 2 creatures like communicating to each other. One of them seems to be 3-dimensional. Can we prove that? No. In the next image, this image was presented at the Rense site, saying that this was a hoax. Frame is 2036, time 1 minute and 7 seconds, and we see this creature behind the plants and the tree, the leaves of the tree, and moving some kind of object. We concentrated in this besides the shape of the creature. If this is a hoax, then this creature, this dummy, has to be expensive because it's flexible and very credible, very good model. Or if it's real, of course. Then, as we analyze that, we were able to get the shape of the object, and here we can see very clearly. Oh, jeez. Oh. It doesn't stop. No. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see this again. Okay. Here you can see very clear the object that is hanging or moving with the right hand. You cannot see that in the original image. I believe this is somehow a proof that this is real. Otherwise, if you are going to host this, you will make it very evident, whatever this is being done. But here we have some kind of instrument that is being handled by this creature. Here you have this image 7 seconds later. It's like if the camera was surprised by the presence of this creature, like he moved the camera away from the place he was recording because this creature was getting closer. The center of the shot is right here. This is the center, and the creature is here looking for him. Here is clearer. In the next shot, you can see, you can see that the creature is coming closer, looking for the man who is using the infrared. Okay? And the man is now on his knees trying to hide from this creature. You see? I think these creatures can see in infrared. That's why. Now you see that the creature is going away. The last one was a minute and 40 seconds. That's 26 seconds after the other. This is 34 seconds. He's still trying to hide, looking through the holes of the fence. And this creature is like going away. And finally we see the last picture, 2 minutes and 27 seconds from the beginning, and you see the craft coming for them, and they are going away. For me, it looks very coherent. It looks like these 6 pictures relate a story. It's very easy to discredit them, very easy, but I think they are real. Next case. There were 50 people in a party in a farm outside Monterrey, Mexico, when an animal went inside the farm. They didn't have a lamp, then they used the camera, the flash of the camera, to try to find the animal. They weren't taking pictures. You can see that clearly because you can see part of a car here. It's more like they're trying to see through the light of the flash. But when you take this picture, and you can really, with a Photoshop, try to light it up, you can see something strange. It's away, but looking to them. In the next, It's the same kind of thing, but now you see this creature or whatever it is going away, running. And in the third one, this man is trying to get the attention of the man with the flash, saying, look, the animals inside. They are afraid. Put the light there. He's Fernando Cárdenas. And the man with the camera is Ivan Geraldo Cisneros. And they got this picture, but then next day, they saw something in the back. You see, we have analyzed this. Could this be a dummy? Yes. Could this be a hoax? In the camera, in the image? No. It's not a hoax in the image. Exactly like the last case. It's not a hoax in the image. Can they be dummies? Yeah. It's very difficult to go against that. I mean, when you have so many cases, we have 2 so far. What's the size? We believe is a yard or 80 centimeters, something like that. My friend Dan Iria helped me, he's around, I don't know if he's here, but he made an analysis on these pictures, and his conclusion was that this was real. He couldn't say again if this is a dummy or something like that, but was not hoaxed in the image. Yeah. The eyes, are you done? I don't hear you. What if we finish and you ask me that same question? Okay. Let me continue because my time is running. This is here. I think this was presented by Art Bell. Again, according to the story that I heard, is that a man was trying to check his camera in a cemetery to see how good the camera was. That's what I heard. And he took this photograph where after he checked the photograph and he was able to see this. Again, what would be the reason just to hoax this? The whole the pixels in the creature are the same from the rest of the image, which means that this was not hoaxed, but it could be also a dummy. But now we have what? 3 cases? And then on July 2003, in Juarez, Mexico, a little girl took this photograph, a 14-year-old girl, inside her house. And there are 3 pictures. I just got one. When I went to make the investigation, we found the girl in the hospital. She was very sick. I offered my help to the family, but they didn't want to, and they asked me not to get the girl involved in the investigation. But I found many witnesses, like these 2 young boys, who had seen these creatures in the past around Juarez. John Mack investigated this case, and he said that the case was real. And these people are telling us that what they saw is exactly this outside Juarez on August 25, 1995. And that's exactly what they saw. Just the same, just the same. And again in Juarez, this picture was sent to Brian Bike in Canada, and Brian Bike sent it back to me because the letter was in Spanish. I checked, and the plates on the car are from the state of Chihuahua. The car is a Mexican Jetta, model 91 or 92. You can see this detailing here that is characteristic for the Mexican cars. Then I concluded that this was taken very near the border, in the desert area. This man didn't speak English. He sent the letter in Spanish, but he sent it to a man in Canada. For that reason, he had to have friends, probably in the border, probably in El Paso, and that's why he sent. But he has kept his name anonymous. Then we have this. As you see, it's three-dimensional. It's a tall. I think it's very similar to the one in the cemetery. I don't know if it's similar from what some of the stories I have heard in here about the tall creatures in the desertic areas. But as you see, this looks very real. We have analyzed everything, and it doesn't, again, it is not a hoax in the image. It could be a hoax in the dummy, in the creature by itself. But for what reason? This should be expensive to make a dummy this size. It should be very expensive. And finally, we have here the last case from Chile. Probably you've seen this picture before. Was taken in the Forestal Park, Parque Forestal, on May 2004, where you have this creature going through the horses of two policemen. The two policemen were asked if they saw the creature. They said no. And because all the image is blurred, even this, some people think it's the best case because it's impossible to fake. And you have two policemen in daylight who could have seen the creature, but they didn't. As we get close to it, it's very clear. It's a very small creature moving very fast in the middle of the two policemen. Okay. We come to the best, I think. Even though I'm not an expert in the crop circle phenomenon, I think Freddy Silva here and many others are better qualified than myself. I have found something really, really interesting. There are many, many figures through the years, from May to August every year, but I have discovered that in August, in the first 2 weeks of August, we have always the most important, always the most meaningful, the real message from that year. And I want to present this to you. Starting with this, in the year 2013 of August, the year 2000, close to Chilbolton, you have this. We didn't know how important this was. The same day, next year. I don't know why many investigators haven't given importance to this. Do you think this could be done at night? In one night? Look at it. It's three-dimensional. Clearly three-dimensional. And we made a little analysis on this, and we found something really interesting. The face in the middle and the one in the left have Gaussian filter 6.6 pixels. What do we see there? We see the face, and you see that the face is receiving light from the right side, illuminating all the right area in the face, to the middle, to the nose, to the mouth. The mouth is producing shadow. The nose is producing shadow. You can see that around the face in the right side is lighter than the left side, which I think proves that this creature is real and put his face in the field. Why? Because 4 days later, we received this. As you know, it's the so-called answer from the stars. And we have a lot of information there regarding the message we sent. 10 digits in mathematics is the same for them. I don't want to really go in detail, but there are many little information. The atoms, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, are the same with these creatures. They have silicium in their body. The chemicals for the DNA, the structure of the DNA, the size of the genome. We have the answers. I believe these are real answers. I could go in detail into this, but I don't think it's the point at this moment. Well, what we found is that that was exactly the figure that we saw the year before. It means that they sent first the instrument that they were going to use, second they present themselves, and third they answer. Next year, also on August the 16th, I was there to investigate this. This is 120 meters large, 80 meters wide, and has a disc with a binary code on it. Do you really think this could be done in a night? Just think about this. How difficult could this be to be made in a night? I don't buy that this is a hoax. Nobody really has proved this to be a hoax. Yeah, many people consider it's too much, but I think the message there is very important. At least 3 different experts came to the same conclusion. I am sorry, it's in Spanish. Beware with the bearers of the false presents and broken promises. Much pain, but still time. And this is very important. You will see why. Believe there is still good out there. I think it's the most important phrase in the message. We oppose deceive, and the conduit is closing. That's what this message says. I will explain why is this for me so important. Okay, on August the 10th, 2003, we had this molecule. Nobody has been able to know exactly what this molecule means, but I am very sure it's a very important message that we have to analyze and try to have an answer for this. as you see, is completely three-dimensional. And it's very, very big. It was destroyed 2 days later after appear. For me, it's something we still have to know. And finally, and that's why I presented all this, we have the so-called Mayan calendar. Why is it so important? Here we have a calendar, and here we have a sign of continuous rotation, a cycle. The Mayans believe that our solar system, and they were right, went around a center every 25,625 years. And they divided the calendar in 5,125. 5 parts of that calendar made a full cycle. Here we have 4 calendars. Inside we have times of 520 or 5,100 or 5,200, and outside we have 5,200, 5,100, which means that we are very near to the calendar. 2012 is going to be the end of the calendar. Many people consider that the end of that calendar means the destruction of Earth. I believe it's a change. I don't think it's going to be a destruction of Earth or human beings. I think something important is going to happen. Very recently, it has been found that at the Quilcaya mountains in Peru, the glaciers are melting. And under the glaciers, they have been finding little green plants that have been frozen for 5,000 years. What this means is that probably 5,000 years ago, we had a subit climate change, spontaneous climate change, suddenly. And we kept the same kind of climate for 5,000 years, okay? Probably the Mayans knew that the sun has a long cycle of 5,200, or to be exact, 5,125 years. And every time this happens, the sun just changes the cycle. Exactly like the solar maximum every 11 years. We have explosions from the sun really gets hot every 11 years. And we have been seeing since 1850 to now that the sun is hotter and hotter and hotter. Besides the gases, besides the global climate change, we have the sun. And for that reason, we think that 2012 could be the beginning of the rising of the seas. Are these creatures trying to tell us, look, be aware of the Mayans? Is that why they are now appearing in Yucatan? Are they trying to connect this knowledge to us? This symbol was used in many cultures after the Mayas, the Mexicas, the Toltecs, and many others. The Totonacas and others used that symbol that was used to express Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan. Is this Mayan calendar so important? I believe it is. Just very recently, in the news we heard the scientists accepting that by the year 2012, we will see the rising of the sea level. We received from some friends in NASA some maps presenting this possibility by the year 2012. These are the maps. As you see, some areas are under the sea, but not completely. The lowland in many areas of the United States, Mexico, Yucatan, Alaska, Canada, and also in Africa, Europe. Europe almost completely disappears under this possibility. It doesn't mean that the sea is going to cover the whole thing, just the lowland. This has happened many times in history. Are they trying to tell us that? I don't know. But it's a real possibility. This is the Antarctic, what is left. On March 31st, 2003, at the Volcano Iztaccíhuatl, people saw many lights all around the night, and in the morning, they saw this in the middle of the volcano. It was identified like all Hebrew. We sent this to Israel, to Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, where the last experts are, and they gave us 4 possibilities. They said, yeah, it was a message, it was all Hebrew, and the first 3 were not considered real, but the 4th one is probably the real message. And the real message is on the 9th, the dragon will be born. Thanks to the help of my friends Britt and Lee Elders and Chile McLean, we were able to connect with the people of the Bible code, and they said that the dragon for the old Hebrews meant the knowledge, and the 9 was the number for the serpent. Then we can read here, on the serpent the dragon will be born. What could be the serpent? There is a place in the world where there are more serpents than any other place, more variety of serpents. The serpent was really respected in the past, and this country uses a serpent in the national symbol. And that's my country, that's Mexico, besides that this appeared there. Then we have read here, I mean, you can believe it or not, or it's up to you, or in Mexico, the knowledge will be born. Is that related to everything we saw? If this is true, then we had to have signs, and we received 2 important signs on the 14th and the 31st of January last year. Are these signs in the sky? I want to end this presentation by remembering that phrase that appeared in Winchester that says, "Believe there is still good out there." Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jaime Maussan.
Thank you.
Oh my, oh my.